Can a Catholic celebrate Halloween?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Would you like to elaborate on that at all?
Well, I mean, in the first place, okay, so we can talk about what Halloween is. And as people may know, even the name Halloween is an abbreviation of the phrase All Hallows Eve. And so that leads to another question for many English speakers, at least speakers of contemporary English, which is, what is a hallow? And here we're not thinking of an app. Instead, we're thinking of something else. So the word hallow in a verb form comes up in the most famous Christian prayer of all time, at least in its English translation. What do we say there?
Hallowed.
Hallowed, yeah. Hallowed be thy name. And what does that mean? What are we asking God to do?
Oh, that's a good one, Jimmy. Hallowed be thy name.
It is a good idea if you're asking God to do something to know what you're asking him to do.
Yeah, I don't think I was quite prepared for this. Darn it, can we just do this next year? Can we just take a year off of this?
Yeah, sure, fine with me.
I suppose that means that his name be made holy or thought holy or
treated as holy. Yeah. And so that tells us what the basic concept of hallowedness is, holiness. Mm-hmm. In fact, you can even hear how hallow sounds like holy, just a little vowel change. And so a hallow is someone who's holy. If you were to say holy one or holy person using a Latinate word, what word would you? Saint, yeah. Huh. So All Hallows Eve is the eve of All Saints' Day. And All Saints' Day is a major liturgical feast on the calendar. In fact, in ordinary years, it's a holy day of obligation. And so Catholics definitely should celebrate All Saints' Day, and that can extend over into the evening before to celebrate the eve of All Saints' Day. So there's no problem with Catholics celebrating Halloween. That's a totally good thing to do. The question is, how are you celebrating it? And there are some ways that are better than others. You know, obviously, one can commemorate the saints in various ways. And since that's the purpose of All Saints' Day, that's a good way to do it. But there's also a cultural aspect to Halloween that started in the Anglosphere, in the English-speaking world, in the British Isles, including Ireland, and then it came to America, where it kind of transformed a little bit, and then it spread all over the world. So we have this secularized version of Halloween parallel to the religious version. And there's nothing wrong in principle with having a secular celebration that's parallel to a religious celebration, as long as you're not doing anything wrong. But in this case, there are people who suspect, the pop culture celebration of Halloween is demonic because it's always demons, and anything scary is obviously demons. And so dressing up like scary figures like firemen and doctors and nurses and superheroes, that's got to be demonic because, I mean, Kellett, aren't you scared of firemen and doctors and nurses and superheroes?
Terrified. I was expecting to ask something else. No, those people don't scare me at all.
Oh, okay. Well, what about in that case, having skeletons around and jack-o'-lanterns and things like that?
Yeah, a little marginally more scary.
Marginally, yeah. Not too bad though.
No.
Now there are some ways one could celebrate the cultural version of Halloween that, you know, I would be much cooler towards. Like if someone wants to dress up as the devil, you know, I'm not a big fan of the devil. So, you know, and I understand a lot of people could have a problem with that. But merely dressing up as something scary, whether it's a policeman or a nurse or a skeleton or whatever, merely dressing up as something that's scary or having scary imagery around is something that deserves a little bit of further study. Let's think about the Bible for a minute. Now, in the Bible, are there scary things?
Yeah, like Herod.
Yeah, like King Herod. Okay, good example. Yeah. King Herod's a good example. Also, there's, the beast in Revelation. There's the dragon in Revelation. There's even the devil in the Bible.
Right.
And there are all kinds of battles, and battles are scary, and there's plagues. There's a lot of scary stuff in the Bible. Now, can you, and of course that means we should never, ever make movies or TV shows or have stage plays about the Bible, right?
No, we should do those things.
I hate to contradict you. We should.
Yes.
We should.
Yes.
Oh, okay. But the Bible has scary parts in it, and it would require someone, if you did a complete adaptation of the Bible, whether it's an audiobook or a stage play or a TV show or a movie series or whatever, if you have someone reading the text of the Bible, they've got to say the lines of Herod.
Right.
And they've got to say the lines of the devil. And they have to say, crucify him. And they have to say a bunch of stuff that bad people did. Surely that is wrong, Cy Kellett, to say things that bad people said.
We say them in church, Jimmy.
Pretend to be bad people?
We do it on Palm Sunday.
Oh,
we say all those things.
There can be redeeming reasons then why one could dress up and act scary, even though we're not doing it sincerely. We're not sincerely being evil. We're just play acting.
Yeah, right.
So there can be reasons like education and spiritual commemoration and remembering things. Well, okay, let's see if we can think of any reasons. Any additional reasons why one could dress up or act in a scary way. How about drama? Because if you're doing something dramatic, there has to be dramatic tension. There have to be stakes involved, meaning emotional, dramatic stakes. And so if you're gonna enact a dramatic scenario, now I've never seen My Little Pony. My impression is the dramatic stakes are pretty low on My Little Pony, although maybe some bronies could correct me. But certainly in most drama, there have to be bad people doing bad things, at least pretending to do bad things, because, drama isn't real. And so dramatic scenarios involve people play acting. And if you're going to put on a dramatic scenario, you need to have someone play the bad guy. Somebody's got to be the bad guy, whether the bad guy is a monster or an axe murderer or a criminal or whatever it is. You need that dramatic tension, and somebody has to play that part. Okay, and as a result, now you'll notice one word that keeps coming up in what I've described thus far is the word play, as in play acting.
Right.
And you can have stage plays, but play is a universal human phenomenon. It's so universal that kids do it spontaneously. Now, back in my day, they might, and who knows what today's standards are. But back in my day, kids would play cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians or things like that pit two groups in opposition to each other. And that's where the dramatic conflict came from. In the case of cops and robbers, most people would agree the cops are the good guys and the robbers are the bad guys. But even in these scenarios, we have dramatic tension with groups in opposition, with some people playing the bad guy and acting scary and pretending to do things they shouldn't, even though they're not really doing them. It's part of the drama of play, including among children. And it's not even just human children that play. If you look at puppies, they play. If you look at kittens, they play. If you look at all kinds of animals, their offspring play. So why do human children play and puppies play and kittens play and other offspring of animals play? There must be some purpose that God built in to play if it is such a universal phenomenon among God's creatures. So if you had to take a guess, and I'll tell you the answer if you guess wrong or if you guess right, what is the purpose of play? Why does God want the offspring of different creatures of his to play?
I've got
what benefit does it confer?
My one-word answer: practice.
Practice, yes. You see, I have answered this question for you before. Practice is what play lets people do, and so kittens and puppies play fight because it's a safe way of getting practice for fights for real that they will be in as adult dogs and cats. And so in order to get ready for those real fights as adult dogs and cats, they need to get practice by playing in a safe way, or largely safe way, with each other when they're young. And the same impulse is what drives human boys in particular to play, because men are configured for battle, and in a way that women aren't, although women can certainly step in and help in battles. And, there are no men. It falls to the women to defend, the family and larger groups and so forth. But men in particular in the human species are configured for battle. And so in order to get ready for battles that they may have to fight as men, boys need to get practice play fighting, just like dogs and cats do. Okay, well, that's not limited to human offspring, though, because notice human adults also play. They may play sports, which it also involves, competition and conflict between different people, but in a safe way or largely safe way. They may not play sports. They may do stage plays. They may read novels. They may watch TV shows, even Lifetime movies. They consume fiction, and all forms of fiction involve drama, which shows us that drama helps even human adults emotionally process and practice for situations where dramatic stakes would be involved in real life. Like if you watch a Lifetime movie about a husband and wife going through a rough patch and then they get back together, that can help you, if you're a woman or if you're a man, be prepared to face a situation where you and your spouse might have a rough patch that you need to get through on your way to reconciliation. And there are numerous other ways that fiction prepares us, even if we never confront the exact thing we've consumed fiction about, it still helps prepare us in various ways to confront potentially difficult or dangerous situations in the future. So play, including drama, including people pretending to be scary or do bad stuff, is actually an impulse that God built into human nature, and it has a legitimate function of helping us get ready for things we might have to face in the future. So there is no problem if you want to dress up as a super scary individual, like, a policeman or a nurse or a fireman or even an axe murderer. If you want to do that for Halloween and that's one form of play you want to engage in, it's not automatically wrong. Neither is it automatically wrong to do things like trick or treat. I mean, you shouldn't really do tricks on people, but if you want to go around to people's doors and get treats from them, even high carbohydrate treats, those are okay as long as you're not eating high sugar treats every day. And if you need, take your insulin first or whatever. But when you look at the different activities associated with the cultural celebration of Halloween, none of them are intrinsically wrong. Like I said, there are some things I wouldn't recommend. Like if I had children, I wouldn't let them dress up as devils. But, I wouldn't have a problem with them dressing up as saints or even as secular things. If one of them wanted to be a monster, like a skeleton or something like that for Halloween. One year I was a mummy when I was a kid. Another year I was a Dracula. I don't have a problem with this in principle. So I would say that Catholics can celebrate Halloween, either the religious version of it or the cultural version of it, or both, as long as you apply sensible principles to the celebration and don't just indulge anything.
Charlie's in the studio. He's going to be a window washer for Halloween. He is very relieved. He said, I hope Jimmy says yes, because I don't have to get rid of my window washer outfit. You're okay, Charlie. All right, we'll take a quick break. Right back with Ask Me Anything with Jimmy Akin on Catholic Answers Live.